Welcome to Shots Fired. We are live in Cana, Virginia. I'm Brad freaking Nolan, and tonight with me I have the legend, Travis King. Say hello, Travis.
What's up, guys?
Now, Travis, I know you've got some comments and remarks regarding mine and Nick's predictions for the 2018 season. Let's hear some of those. Let's start with the AFC East.
Well, Nick, you really high on Josh Allen there, ain't you? I mean, I just don't know about Josh Allen, man. The man, to me, really hasn't proven himself. He's had some decent moments in the preseason, but nothing great. But, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, but I just don't think he's going to be that good. Plus, he just doesn't have enough help around him. Kelvin Benjamin, I don't even know what to think of that man anymore after he called out his former quarterback, Cam Newton, and then...
Kelvin Benjamin's soft. Let's just say that.
Yep, agreed. We'll just leave it at that. But, yeah, I just think too high on Josh Allen. I think Buffalo has a chance to have worst record in the league. And on the other hand, Bradley, he's really high on Sam Darnold. That's another guy to me that hasn't proven himself. But apparently the Jets coaching staff has seen some good in him because they have announced today that they are trotting him out for a Week 1 Monday night start at Detroit. So that'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to see him on a national stage like that, his first ever game.
Sam Darnold will shine in his first game. I guarantee you that. He was going to do great this year.
I'm not so sure about that, but we shall see, though.
How do you feel about the Patriots this year? Is that who you have winning the AFC East?
Oh, yeah, by a landslide. I'm thinking... It honestly wouldn't surprise me if they won the division by 8 games or more. I think by that many. They're just so much better than them other 3 teams are. It's just a joke. I mean, I think they're good either way. Some people says, well, they wouldn't never made it to all these Super Bowls and went deep in the playoffs without playing in that division all these years, but I still think they would have under Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, arguably 2 of the greatest of all time.
Okay, so you see the Patriots win the AFC East. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win the AFC North this year?
AFC North, I think Pittsburgh's going to win the AFC North with that offense. You got Big Ben, yeah, he's getting older and he's getting injury prone, but I still think he's more than capable of getting the job done as long as his line will block for him if he don't take no hits or anything.
What did you think of Nick Bell saying the Steelers were going to fall apart this year?
I do not see that unless they have some key injuries that happen. Then that could possibly happen. But other than that, I just do not see it happening. And I think their defense is getting better too. So with that offense, and if they can get some production out of their defense, they're going to be a scary team, I feel like.
Yep, they are my AFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl this year. And then how do you see the rest of that division ending up?
Okay, I think Baltimore is going to be second. I'm thinking around 9-7, somewhere along them lines. I think they'll be a borderline playoff team, but not quite getting in. I think Joe Flacco could potentially have a big year. He's on a contract year, so he may be out to prove himself. So, I mean, that'll be interesting keeping on. And then they did bring in Michael Crabtree. I think that was a nice addition. And third, I'm torn on who I think is going to be between third and last. I think Cleveland's gotten significantly better. And I think Cincinnati, if anything, has stayed about the same, if not gotten worse. And I'm just not a big fan of Andy Dalton and never have been. So, you know what I think? For the longest time, I said Cincinnati was going to be third, but I think I'm actually going to go with Cleveland now. And I do. And by the way, I think Cleveland could add Dez Bryant before it's all over with. And I think that could potentially be a nice addition.
How many games do you think Cleveland wins this year?
I'm going to go 5-11, 6-10, somewhere along them lines.
Okay. All right. What about the AFC South? What do you think is going to happen in that division?
AFC South, a very competitive division. I think a fairly good division, in my opinion. Well, I think it's probably between 2 teams, between Houston and Jacksonville, but I'd have to give the nod to Jacksonville just because I think their defense is amazing and everything. And I think on offense they need to be run heavy, and I think they will be. Let Fournette get between 25 and 30 touches, and Blake Bortles, he just needs to be a game manager and take care of the ball, not turn the ball over and stuff like that, and I think they'll be just fine. In Houston, Deshaun Watson, an amazing talent. Just an unbelievable player. Just can't wait. I hope he stays healthy. Can't wait to see him for a full year. And DeAndre Hopkins, he's a special receiver. And I'm hoping J.J. Watt can stay healthy. I'd just like to see that team with all their big studs on it stay healthy, because I know they can do some damage if they stay healthy.
Do you think Andrew Luck coming back is going to affect that division in any way? I mean, of course the Colts are going to be better, but do you see the Colts maybe making a playoff run?
I do not see them making a playoff run. Maybe as high as third, but I definitely don't see first or second unless, say, Deshaun Watson gets hurt again, or Hopkins or somebody gets hurt. They may slip up and get second, but other than that, I honestly think they're going to be last, but they could get as high as third.
The AFC South has definitely upgraded since Luck has last played a game, so
yeah,
that's going to be a big deal. He's going to be in for a surprise.
Yeah.
All right, what about the AFC West, Travis King?
AFC West, that's another competitive division, and I think the Chargers is going to win that division. I've always been a big fan of Phillip Rivers. I like what he does and everything, and I think they've got a very good offense, but not only that, their defense is improving and getting better, and I really like where they're at on that side of the ball. And Chargers, don't sleep on the Chargers. I think they could potentially contend for a Super Bowl. I think they're that good.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm really high on the Chargers as well this year.
Yeah. And as far as the rest of the division, I'd say, well, Bradley has informed me tonight that Khalil Mack might be getting traded to Green Bay, and I definitely think that's going to hurt Oakland a lot if that happens. So I'm thinking second, I'm going to go with Kansas City. I like where they are on offense. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to step in and do just fine. That team has a lot of weapons on offense, a lot of speed on offense. They have a very solid tight end, too, in Travis Kelce. Their biggest weakness, I would say, is their defense. Their defense is probably below average, but they're more than capable of putting up points. In Denver, now some people think Case Keenum's not going to do that great in Denver. And I will say it's going to be hard for him to duplicate what he did in Minnesota last year. Obviously, he had a great year in Minnesota. But I still think he's going to hold his own in Denver. And he's got, two pretty darn good receivers to work with, and Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. So,
also, got to watch out for on that team is Royce Freeman, the rookie running back. I've been hearing good things about him, so
yeah,
he could be top 5 or 10 running back possibly in this league. So who knows?
Yep, and I've heard those things too, and I'm interested to see how the young man's going to do. And Denver on defense is obviously solid, a great pass rush, still good linebackers, I feel like, so I think they'll be just fine on that side of the ball as well. And then Oakland, they're an interesting team. John Gruden, of course, coming back. I'm excited to see him back on the sidelines, but I'm most definitely going to miss him in the booth on Monday nights. Enjoyed hearing his commentary. I thought he was a really good commentator.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too.
But yeah, Oakland, their defense is going to take a big hit if they do in fact lose Khalil Mack, and it looks like it's heading that way, so that's definitely going to be a hit. And on offense, I think their offense is going to be potentially borderline top 10. I think Derek Carr, in my opinion, could be a potential sleeper for MVP this year. I'm pretty high on Derek Carr. I actually drafted him in one of my leads tonight to back up Matt Ryan. But anyhow, I think Jordy Nelson's going to be a solid number 2 receiver for him. And I'm interested to see how the running backs do in Marshawn Lynch and Doug Martin. Interested to see how that duo works out. But yeah, I think Oakland will be last, though. But
one thing to remember in that division, Oakland does have the best offensive line in that division by a pretty good margin. So that could be a factor, but we'll see.
Yeah, true.
All right, Trav. Who do you have in your AFC Championship for this season?
This is tough, but, gosh. Well, I'm going to say this first. I think there's a legitimate, I'd say as of right now, 4 teams, in my opinion, that could be in the AFC Championship game. I think there's, I'm going to go 5, actually. I'm going to change that to 5. Of course, you can only go with 2, though, but I'm going to tell you the 5 that I think has a really good shot to be there. And Of course, it's just assuming they stay healthy. I think New England, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Houston, and the Chargers. But if I had to just go with two, I'm thinking, I think New England will get there because I think they'll have a home field just because they're going to go 6-0 in their division, I feel like. And they're going to beat some other teams as well. And I think they'll be there. And I think if Pittsburgh stays healthy, I think they will be there once again. And if I had to pick who I think is going to win that game, you know what? I think Pittsburgh gets the job done in Foxborough at Gillette Stadium in January. And they'll get to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to go 30-27 Pittsburgh on a late Chris Boswell field goal.
Okay, so you got the Pittsburgh Steelers going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
All right, Trav, let's shift gears to the NFC. Let's start with the NFC East. Who do you like in that division?
Oh, Philadelphia by a landslide, not even close. Really, really high on the Eagles. Who couldn't be based on what they did last year? They're just a great team all around, and they got a lot of depth. Good offense, good defense, good special teams. Just what else can you say? They're just an unbelievable team.
Do you think the injuries will catch up to them eventually, or do you think they'll be able to maneuver through it like they did last season? This year they have a lot of injuries going into week one. You got Wentz, you don't know when he's going to come back. You got Foles, who got banged up in the preseason. Jeffrey, you don't know when he's going to come back. And also Jay's banged up. So do you think that's going to catch up to him?
Yeah, that is a bit concerning, especially if Wentz and Foles can't go. Then, I would be concerned. But I still think that team would be fine. If I had anything that worried me about them, it's where they're the defending champions, and they're going to have a target on their back all year because teams is going to be gunning for them. So that would probably be my biggest concern if I was a Philly fan. But other than that, I think they'll be just fine, and they'll be right there in the mix to win it all again, I feel like. And as far as the rest of the division, I think 2 through 4 is a toss-up, in my opinion, in that division. But if I had to go on what I think, I think the Giants is going to get second. I'm really high on Saquon Barkley. I think that'll help take some of the pressure off Eli, I would like to think, and maybe perhaps open up some more things for Odell in the receiving game. So I think they'll get second. And third, I think Dallas will get third. Dallas, they just need to be a run-heavy offense, and I think that's going to actually do better this year than he did last year. Not as good as he did in his rookie year, but I think he'll do better than he did last year. I think not having Dez on the team actually may be a help, because I know Dez was a headache at a lot of times. But, I think Dallas will be third, and I think Washington will be fourth, and that isn't taking anything away from Alex Smith, who I think's a pretty solid quarterback. Borderline underrated in my opinion, but I just don't think that team has enough. And Jordan Reed, a special tight end, but just can't never stay healthy. And, they did bring in Adrian Peterson, but, that man's got a lot of miles on him, so I just don't know how that's going to pan out. But we'll see, though.
All right, Trav, let's go to the NFC North, a division that you feel very strongly about.
NFC North, I feel pretty strongly Minnesota's going to take this division. I think, if anything, it's not to take anything away from Case Keenum, but I think Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, is an upgrade. I really do. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. Perhaps he'll be in the conversation for MVP, I feel like. You look at who the man's got to throw the ball to. Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, just two spectacular receivers, a good running game, a great defense to back them up. What more could you ask for? And I think Minnesota will take the North. I think second will be, this is tough.
Oh, come on now, Trav.
I'd have to give the nod to Green Bay, assuming they get Khalil Mack. I think they'll get second. And,
Oh, just because Khalil Mack, nothing to do with the greatest quarterback on the planet, Aaron Rodgers?
He's not nowhere near the greatest quarterback. He ain't even, my opinion, he ain't even top 10 quarterback in the league.
He's the richest man in the NFL as of today, and he deserved every penny of it.
Well, I don't believe he did, but a lot of people do, so everybody's got their own opinion. I respect that, but to me, in my book, he's not a top 10 quarterback. I'm sorry, but...
Why do you hate on Aaron Rodgers so much? The people want to know, why do you hate him so bad?
Well, there's a stat on Mr. Rodgers. If I ain't mistaken, I'm going to just go 0-30, somewhere along them lines of when he's trailing in the fourth quarter against teams with a winning record. I mean, if he was as great as everybody makes him out to be, then that record would obviously be better. But anyway, though, I think Green Bay compete for a wild card spot, but I don't see them going far in the playoffs, though. And then third, I've got Detroit. I've always been a pretty big fan of Matthew Stafford. I always felt like he's been fairly underrated. Sometimes never gets enough recognition. And that Detroit team, don't sleep on that Detroit team. They got a lot of weapons on offense. They don't have the best running game, but they got a good passing attack. Their defense is, I'd say, about middle of the pack. But they'll be an interesting team to watch, I feel like. And then Chicago, another team, I'm going to say this, don't sleep on the Bears. They're on the rise. Mitchell Trubisky, I still think Chicago screwed up when they drafted him. I mean, I ain't saying he's not going to be good. I do think he's going to be good, but, I mean, they had a chance to get Deshaun Watson. I don't know what they were thinking, but they clearly weren't thinking right. But anyway, though, with that being said, I do think they'll be better. I like their running attack. I'm high on Jordan Howard. Tariq Cohen, a little fella out of North Carolina A&T. Good little back. Catches passes out of the backfield. Does a tremendous job. And they've brought in some other receivers, and if anything, their defense might be a little better. So, yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Chicago. I think they could sneak up on some teams and surprise some teams.
All right, let's shift gears to the NFC South, otherwise known as the Travis King division. What do you think's going to happen in that division?
NFC South. I may be a little biased. I don't think I am, but I do think that's the best division in football. Especially with the top three teams. Of course, Tampa's not hitting on much, but the top three teams are special teams. I'll put it to you that way. But I think I see Atlanta taking the NFC South this year. They had a little bit of a down year last year. Just had some tough breaks go against them. Seemed like week in and week out. And I think, if anything, they'll be getting some breaks the other way this year. And that offense, my goodness, can't even put into words. You got Matt Ryan, an unbelievable quarterback, unbelievable leadership. The man just, he's unbelievable.
Overrated is the word you're looking for.
No, he's far from overrated. He has the potential to go down as a top 10 to 15 quarterback to ever play the game of all time when it's said and done.
Wow. Did you smoke anything before we started this podcast?
I did not. But Matt Ryan, just unbelievable. And that running, let's get to the running game now. Devontae Freeman's a stud. Tavon Coleman's a stud. That running game's unbelievable. Freeman's just a big old power back. He'll run you over. And Coleman's more of the opposite. He's not going to run through the tackles, but he's a speedy, shifty type of guy, and he'll catch passes out of the backfield, and he'll be just fine. Of course, Julio Jones, just unbelievable, hard-working receiver, just plays the game the right way. Just unbelievable. Joy to watch. Mohamed Sanu, a great number 2, too, by the way, who I'm on. Just another good receiver, complements Julio. Matt knows if Julio's not open, he can go to Muhammad, and he'll be just fine. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they're young, they're fast, they're athletic. They've got some good safeties, pretty good linebackers. So, Atlanta, you watch out for the Falcons. They're going to make some noise this year, perhaps win it all. And coming in second, I have the Saints coming in second. Drew Brees, yeah, he may be, I think, 38 years old. I mean, but hey, he's still producing, still playing at a high level. Easily will go down as one of the all-time greats. That running game is special. Alvin Kamara is an absolute stud. Came out of nowhere last year and just absolutely did work. And yes, Mark Ingram is suspended the first 4 games, but I don't think that's going to hurt as bad as some people think, because Kamara's still young enough he can handle a big workload. And then, of course, you got Drew Brees, and they're going to throw the ball some too. So I don't think that's going to hurt as bad as people think. And pretty good receiving core. Michael Thomas, he's a stud. Ted Ginn, good speed threat. Sometimes doesn't have the best hands, but if I learned one thing last year, he didn't seem to drop as many in New Orleans as he did in Carolina. I think that's because Drew Brees is more accurate QB than Cam Newton, for one thing. Let's get that straightened out of the way. But
you're taking shots at Cam? Really?
Yeah, Cam. Love my boy Cam, but not the most accurate thrower in the world. But
hey, he is a good dresser, though. You got to give him that.
Yeah, he certainly is. I like his outfits in the post games, like the podium.
He's sharp as a tack, that little Fruit Loop.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
But New Orleans defense is good as well, so they'll be right there in the mix. But I'd give a slight edge to Atlanta, then Carolina. And Carolina, yes, I have them finishing third, but hey, they could sneak up and win this division. Don't sleep on the Cardiac Cats of Carolina. Cam. Now, Nick, you said you think Cam's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I strongly disagree with that. I know quarterback's all about throwing the ball and everything, but I don't think he's most accurate, but he does enough to get the job done, I feel like. And keep in mind this year, Carolina's got a new offensive coordinator, bringing in Norv Turner, and I think that is going to be a tremendous help, and I've done seeing signs of it in preseason. They finally took out the trash and old Mike Shula. He's up in New York now, and Lord knows, God bless the New York Giants offense. That's all I can say.
But you had the Giants finishing second in the East.
That's cause of Saquon Barkley. But who knows? Old Shula might screw them up, and they might finish last on that dummy. But anyhow, back to Carolina. Yeah, I think Cam's going to have a good year. I think he'll be better than last year. If anything, I'm not going to go... I don't think he'll quite be as good as he was the year they went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl they should have won, obviously, but they didn't. But
because Cam choked?
Because that game was rigged. But that's another story for another day. But anyhow, I think Cam's going to have a good year. Perhaps I'm not going to quite go MVP year, but Pro Bowl year, I'll give him that. And then Christian McCaffrey running the ball. Lord have mercy. Dude's an absolute stud. He's put on some muscle in the off-season. Man works hard. He's humble. He's just unbelievable, and I can't wait to see him this year in action. And Brandon and C.J. Anderson, that was a great pickup. Somebody that powerful back. He had some tremendous success in Denver. A guy on third and short. Hey, if you don't want to use Cam and get Cam banged up, bring in old C.J. Anderson. Let him run on third and short or on the goal line situations. And the receiving core, of course, Greg Olsen, absolute stud. Future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, no doubt. First tight end ever to have 3 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards. That's a tremendous accomplishment. An unbelievable player. Curtis Samuel, speed threat. Devin Funchess, I think he's going to step up and take on the role as a number 1 receiver on the team. Of course, outside of Greg. Greg's tight end, though. But anyway, I think Funchess will be just fine. And our draft pick we got out of Maryland, DJ Moore, I'm high on him. I think he's going to do just fine. So, offensively, Carolina's going to be fine. I think perhaps top 10 offense. And let's get the defensive side of the ball. That pass rush is going to be spectacular. You got K'Wan Short. You got Mario Addison. You got the future Hall of Famer Julius Peppers. I mean, Lord have mercy. I feel so bad for the opposing offensive lines that has to face that D-line week in and week out. That D-line's going to be getting after it. And then the linebacker as well. Let's get started with Luke Kuechly. Just hands down, in my opinion, best linebacker in football. great pursuit to the ball, stops the running game, good pass coverage guy, just instincts, knows what plays the opposing offense is going to run before they do them. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Luke Kuechly, you, sir, are amazing. And Thomas Davis, this man, I'm going to get emotional. Thomas Davis, it's his last year, and
He's a dirty player.
Nah, he ain't. He's far from dirty. He
hit Devontae Adams, knocked him out of the game.
That was a clean hit. It's just unfortunate Devontae ended up hurt. I hate to see anybody get hurt, but anyway, Thomas Davis, I don't even know where to begin. He's been, some people may disagree, but he's been the heart and soul of this team for many years. The man's overcame so much adversity, 3 torn ACLs, and he comes back and he still does work, and just unbelievable. The man loves to play football. It's clear to see, and he's an unbelievable player. And I hope he's in the Hall of Fame one day. He deserves to be. But I can't say enough good things about the man. It's unbelievable. If you watch Carolina, you pay attention to number 58, because he's going to be out there and he's going to be doing some good things. You just keep your eye on 58. And anyhow, another linebacker we got that's good, Shaq Thompson. This young man is stepping up and turning into quite a good linebacker. Excited to see Shaq this year in action. In our secondary, definitely on our defense is a weak spot, but I am high on the guy they drafted from LSU. I don't know his first name. I know his last name's Jackson. I've seen some really good things out of that young man. And Bradbury, he's an average corner, but our secondary is a little weak. But hey, if our defensive line does what I think it does, and they're getting to the opposing QBs, it ain't going to matter about the secondary. They ain't going to have to worry about a thing if the QB's laying back on his rear end.
Now, Trav, you seem a lot more emotional and passionate about the Panthers than you did the Falcons, and you claim that they are both your favorite teams, and you even told me behind closed doors that Atlanta is who you pull for more than Carolina due to some of the Panther fans in the area. But from what I'm hearing right now, you are getting passionate and more emotional about this Carolina Panthers team. So really, is the Falcons just a cover-up for something more? Because you seem to like the Panthers a lot more.
No, they aren't. I just got emotional talking about Thomas Davis. Thomas Davis, he's one of my heroes. I got that man's autograph a few years ago and got to meet him. Unbelievable guy. Just what he's meant, not only to the Panthers, but to the city of Charlotte and just NFL in general. It's just unreal. The man deservedly won Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Don't hold me to it. I might tell you the wrong year, but I'm thinking 2015, I believe, 2016. It was one of them 2 years, I feel like. And God knows he deserved to win it, and he did. And I'm so happy for him because of what he does in the community. He helps people. He helps people in need, which I think is awesome for somebody that's on the platform like him to be doing. So, I can't help but get emotional talk about Thomas Davis. I get emotional watching the man play. He's just unbelievable. And Greg Olsen, now this could be his last year too. This was last year on Greg Olsen's contract, and he's a special player as well. Really like Greg a lot. And then, now let's shift gears and get to the team I think is going to be in the cellar, which is the Buccaneers. Going to be a rough season down in South Florida for Tampa Bay. Jameis Winston, I don't know what to think of that, man. He just can't stay out of trouble.
Hide your Uber drivers, folks.
Yep.
Hide your crab legs.
And the sad thing is I think Jameis has a chance to be a pretty daggone good quarterback, but he just can't stay out of trouble. But anyhow,
I got a question, Trav. If you were an Uber driver and Jameis Winston got in the car, what would you do?
Ooh, I would probably have a conversation with the man and talk football with him.
Okay. Yep. That's not the answer I was expecting, but all right, Trav.
Yep.
Let's keep it rolling.
And even if Jameis was playing, their first 3 games were brutally tough, and I still think they'd be 0-3 regardless. But now, I definitely think they're going to be 0-3, no doubt. But, yeah, they're in for a rough year. They'll be looking at, if not the top draft pick in next year's draft, perhaps top 2 or 3. It's just going to be a miserable year, but if anything, I hope, because I do like him. I don't condone what he's done off the field for sure, but I've seen him do some good things on the field. And, when Jameis comes back from that 3-game suspension, I hope he does good. I wish him well. But we'll see how it goes. But I just ain't expecting much, though. And their defense is pretty horrendous, too. So it's not much to look forward to. But anyway.
Okay, we got one last division to take a look at. The NFC West. How do you see it finishing?
I'm pretty sure the Rams is going to win that division. My goodness, the people they've added. I don't like him. I think he's a thug, but Aqib Talib, and Ndamukong Suh, that's another thug. But they are talented players, but they are thugs, so let's just get that straight. And I feel like they added some other
Marcus
people.
Peters.
Marcus Peters, absolutely. That's another thug, by the way.
Man, they're just going to have to change that name to the Los Angeles Thugs, aren't they, Trav?
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, those guys are thugs, but they are great players. I ain't saying they're not, but anyway, yeah, Rams is going to be good. Todd Gurley, he's a stud. #1 fantasy player last year. Sean McVay, an outstanding head coach. I mean, how could you not say he's not good in his first year there? I believe that was his first year. They went to the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, they just ran into Matt Ryan and the high-octane Falcons offense. But anyway,
Matt Ryan got lucky once.
Nah, I wouldn't say
I'm
that.
surprised he didn't blow a lead like he did in the Super Bowl.
But yeah, I'm really high on the Rams. Jared Goff, I'm still not sold on Jared Goff, but I think if anything, they just need to try to turn him into somewhat of a Blake Bortles type player. Just be a game manager, man. Just manage the game. You got Todd Gurley. Just don't do nothing stupid and turn the ball over. You got a great defense behind you, As long as he doesn't do that, that team's going to win a lot of games. If they play to their potential, I'd say between 11-5, maybe as good as 13-3, perhaps. But yeah, they're going to be special, though. Second in that division, 49ers. I think perhaps an outside chance to win that division, but I just don't see it happening. I think the Rams are too strong. But anyway, I think the Niners could potentially contend for a wild card, maybe. Jimmy Garoppolo, my goodness, man's undefeated. I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, now, I said tonight when we were talking before we got on here and done this podcast, I said, now when Garoppolo went to the 49ers last year, they were already at 0-10, so it's not like the man had any pressure really on them. They were already, out of the playoff race by that point. So this year it's definitely going to be more at pressure, a lot of expectations, but he's got a good offensive mind and head coach to work with, and Kyle Shanahan, who was the coordinator of the Falcons when they went to Super Bowl. They should have won, but anyway, we'll continue on with the subject I was on. Their offense, I don't know too much about the running game. I know they lost. I'm pretty sure I've seen Carlos Hyde went to Cleveland.
They signed Jerick McKinnon from the Vikings.
That was a pretty good pickup.
And then Matt Breed is their second string. And then third string, it's escaped me. I can't remember. But anyhow.
He might not be as bad at running back as I thought then. McKinnon may be pretty good.
Oh, third string's Alfred Morris.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's pretty solid, yeah.
So, yeah, they'll be all right probably in the running game. Of course, they'll probably be more of a pass-heavy team, I'd like to think, with Garoppolo. Got some pretty good receivers. Old Marquise Lee. No, Marquise Goodwin. I'm sorry, Marquise Goodwin. I drafted him in fantasy, and I think he's going to go off and have a great year, especially with Garoppolo throwing him the ball. And, I think the 49ers, they're going to be something to be dealt with. Their defense is weak, but that team's going to be more than capable of putting up points, I feel like. I'd say 9-7, 10-6, somewhere along them lines. And third, it's a big drop-off between second and third in this division, by the way. But I'm going to give the Seahawks third, but they are definitely not what they used to be. In my opinion, they'd be honestly lucky to win 5 games. I think they're that bad. That's not take nothing away from Russell Wilson, who I think's an absolute stud, but they just don't have the pieces around him. I'm sorry. That Legion of Boom's gone besides Earl Thomas, and I don't even think he wants to be there no more, so can you blame the man? I mean, really? But, feel bad for Seattle. Great fan base out there. Great home field advantage at CenturyLink always, but they're in for a long year, though. Then fourth, bringing up the rear is Arizona. I just ain't expected much from them at all. They'll compete for first record, I feel like. Fitzgerald, yeah, I love the man to death, but he's getting older. He's just a shell of his former self. And that rookie guy they're bringing in, well, he may not even start. Sam Bradford may be the starter, but anyway, that team just doesn't have enough, and I'm a little concerned about David Johnson coming off an injury, too. So we'll see how that goes, but before he got injured, he was an absolute stud, but I think the Cardinals are in for a rough year.
So who do you got in the NFC Championship this year?
Well, I've got the Falcons going up against I think the Falcons and the Eagles are going to square off in the NFC Championship game.
Oh, so we got a rematch of Week 1 coming up.
Rematch Week 1 and rematch last year's division round, which Falcons should have won, but they didn't. But
get out of here.
Either way, I think this time when they meet the playoffs, it'll be in Atlanta instead of Philadelphia, I must say.
You think Atlanta's going to have a better record than Philly?
I do. I think Atlanta...
What do you think Atlanta and Philly's records are going to be?
Okay, I'm going to say the Falcons are going to be... I'm going to go 13-3. I'm going to say Philly 12-4.
Okay, so not too big of a difference.
But they'll meet Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Nice facility. I've been there. Bradley has too.
Yep, we got into it. Broke in. Not really.
It's going to be a game for the ages. But I think Atlanta walks away that evening with a... I'm going to go 34-30 Falcons. Matt Ryan leads a late 2-minute drive down the field to secure a win and a spot in the Super Bowl, which would be a home game for them too, by the way.
So you got the Falcons and the Steelers in the Super Bowl. So who you got winning it?
The Falcons will serve hold at home in Super Bowl 53.
So you think Atlanta's going to host the Super Bowl in their own stadiums? Never been done.
Yep.
You think they'll be the first team to do it?
I do, and I think they're going to win it. I'm going to go Atlanta over Pittsburgh. I'm going to go 34-24 Atlanta.
Okay, so my AFC Championship, I have Pittsburgh over Houston. And my NFC Championship, I have Philly over New Orleans. And then my Super Bowl, I have Philly over Pittsburgh in the Pennsylvania Bowl. And let's see here, Trav. Let's talk about a dark horse team potentially in the NFL this year. Who do you think could sneak up and surprise some people and maybe make the playoffs, maybe even make a deep run in the playoffs?
Out of the whole NFL?
Yep.
Let me think about this for a second. That's definitely going to be a dark horse, I think. Baltimore. Joe Flacco on a contract year. I'm pretty sure last time he's on a contract year, they won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their defense is pretty solid. And I've always liked Harbaugh as a head coach there. So I would go with Baltimore.
Okay. Who do you think is going to win the MVP this year? Give me like 2 or 3 names the race will be between.
Okay. I'm thinking Todd Gurley, I think, will be in the conversation. I think Deshaun Watson, if he can stay healthy, will definitely be in the conversation. And if I had to go with the third one, it would be Kirk Cousins, I believe, be in the conversation.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we're going to do for tonight. It was good talking with you, legend, Travis King.
Yeah, boy. It's been real.
We'll be back with you for our week 1 predictions. We're going to bring those to you every week and all through the playoffs. So, we're signing off. Shots fired. Bang, bang.
Good night.
Peace out.